wonderful coverage, and it is picked off by Deion Sanders. Well, it's prime time. It's Monday Night Football. It's probably the last time Deion will play on Monday Night Football, and why not? A pick-off there as the pressure was put on Brett Favre by Ed Reed. So the safety blitz, but the other guy stays back, and Deion with the pick.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Pete Sampras. Pete Sampras retired from tennis in 2003 with a record 14 Grand Slam titles. Consistently ranked #1 in the 90s, he's spoken of in the same breath as the all-time greats. However, his unemotional style made it difficult for many to see his greatness while he was playing.
With me, there really isn't anything controversial or that's why I got the claim of the boring thing, was because I didn't, throw my racket or act like a jerk out there.
He's extremely true to himself. He's never tried to be something he's not. The only thing he's ever tried to be is the greatest tennis player who ever lived. He's a man of whole cloth. I applaud it.
You can't instill or inject my personality into Pete Sampras. A true fan would look at that and say, man, this is a bluff.
As he's accepted himself, other people are going to have to accept him for who he is.
Coming up on the NFL Halftime Report, we will kick it off with SportsCenter in-game. FIFA has announced their Player of the Year. Also, Yao Ming missing some games and some Major League Baseball signing. All that is coming up on SportsCenter in-game as part of our NFL Halftime Report. Now, back to Monday Night Football with 1:51 to play in the first half.
First down. Chester Taylor is the running back. And he picks up about 4. That interception by Deion Sanders took us to the 2-minute warning.
Well, a couple of things happen. You're going to see Deion is sitting back there. Donald Driver is out on the right. Tommy Polley comes in and hits Brett Favre just as he throws it.
53rd interception of Deion Sanders' career. Mark Clayton makes the catch. And 5 years after Sanders retires, we'll probably see him on the steps in Canton, Ohio.
But again, I think that, Brett Favre just throws this one up. And again, he had to because he has pressure. Watch Donald Driver up there on top. He kind of slows up and stops right there. And the only ones really going for the ball are the 3 Raven defenders. And Deion Sanders comes up with it. Watch why he had to throw the ball right when he threw it. Tommy Polley was about to unload one on him.
250th pick of Brett's career. Now Bowler throws, and that is caught at the 31-yard line by Todd Heap. So Heap has been the man tonight. Todd Heap, the tight end, 6 catches for 55 yards, and Bowler 13 out of 15 for 148.
One of the things we said at the beginning is that Brian Billick was going to evaluate this team and evaluate Kyle Bowler, and I think whatever grading system he's using, I think it has to be a pretty good one for Kyle Bowler.
To this point tonight, and I think Brian has to be feeling as good as anybody about it, because there had to be a lot of questions, especially coming off Bowler's recent performances. First down, draw play, hand off to Chester Taylor. He gets a couple. Baltimore has all of its timeouts remaining. We have 1 minute and 12 seconds, and Billick will take the first of those 3 right here. Monday Night Football from Baltimore being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. The Brothers Grimm, starring Matt Damon and Heath Ledger, own the DVD tomorrow, rated PG-13. And Hummer, check out the H2 Hummer like nothing else. So we're in Baltimore. Why did they have Chinese food for lunch today, John?
I'm not sure, because that's too much work right there. You ever think of that? I mean, it's good. The crab is good and all that, but doggone, to get to it, you have to go through a heck of a lot.
Yeah. So you're going to stick with crab cakes.
Yeah, right.
There's Oriole Park across the parking lot as we swing back into M&T Bank Stadium. 2nd down and 7 from the 28-yard line. 3 wideouts here. Packers show blitz. They come. Quick flip to Heap. And Heap escapes a tackle, gets inside the 10. It's going to be 1st down and goal. Just went right through Underwood. It'll be 1st and goal with 1 minute to play in the half. Bowler says huddle up.
You'd think that Jim Bates would figure out, I have to do something to Todd Heap. I mean, I just can't, on the blitz, I just have to get someone on him. I have to get someone bumping him off the line. I have to double him. I have to, have a look. I have to do something because all Kyle Bowler's doing right now is playing catch with Todd Heap.
Lewis to the 5-yard line. Best of all worlds for Baltimore because they can take their time. They have all the time they need. They have the timeouts they need, and they can try to take as much off the clock as possible. Timeout here.
Relive another great moment on ESPN. It's the biggest day of racing in America, the fabled Indianapolis 500. Difficult to capture for the most savvy veteran drivers. More difficult for a young 26-year-old gunning for his first checkered flag at the Brickyard at Indianapolis. But Helio Castroneves defied the odds and won the big race, climbed the catch fence, and the legend of Spider-Man was born. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
Come in as the lowest scoring team in the league, 13.2 points per game. They've already put up 21, and right now they're 5 yards away from putting up 7 more. It'll be second down and goal. Bowler, who's missed only 2 tonight. This is a third. And it'll be third down. Randy Himes, who scored an earlier touchdown, the intended receiver. And so it'll be third down and goal from the 5-yard line.
It was interesting. They split out Todd Heap there, and it looked like he was going to go to him. And maybe that's what the Packers thought. And he was, going to get the ball out to one more guy. But, like Brian Billick was saying, you look at Bowler, and he's big, and he's strong, and he's smart, and he has all the tools. And you can't find one thing that he doesn't have, except, he speeds up too much and plays the game and sometimes gets a little too anxious, but he doesn't look that way tonight.
On third and goal, and that one is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Colin Cole came in to get a hand on it. You can see Bowler barking at himself as Stover comes in to try to tack on 3 more.
That's what rush guys do now, and it's pretty smart. You rush and you rush and you rush, and if you can't get to the guy, you just get in his lane and get your hand up. You rush if you can get by your guy and beat him, fine. If you can't, you just find the lane that the quarterback is looking and try and get a hand up in that lane.
23-yard attempt for Matt Stover, one of the original Ravens, and he goes back to the Cleveland years as well. 16th season in the league, 23 ticks left on the clock, 24-3 Baltimore. Here's Sam.
Al, you're talking about Deion Sanders and Brett Favre earlier. When Brett began his career in the NFL in 1991 in Atlanta, he was teammates with Deion Sanders. Now, Deion told me his nickname was Prime Time. As for Brett, they called him Country Time. Deion said, I spent a lot of time with him. I even took him clothes shopping, although he didn't inherit Deion's style. He said Brett was wild. He compared him to a wild horse. He said, you knew he'd be great. He just needed to be tamed.
Well, he started at Atlanta, and then Ron Wolf effected that trade to Green Bay. And then when Brett came, and then Reggie White came as a free agent, and Mike Holmgren was there. And, of course, Ron Wolf did such a magnificent job there. I mean, the glory years came back to Wisconsin.
Right, and, Brett was talking about that with Deion Sanders. He said he used to tell him in practice when Brett was running the scout team, he used to say, if you complete a pass on us, I'll give you $10. For every pass you complete in practice, you'll get $10. So Brett said, the competitive spirit in me said, I'm going to go get him, and that's just what Deion wanted. I asked him if he ever paid him. He said no.
So while Favre contemplates retirement, keep in mind that Sanders did retire. Deion was out for a couple of years, then came back. The question with Deion is, will he play another season in 2006? Carroll takes this back to the 28-yard line with 17 seconds remaining in the opening half. And now the question becomes, in a situation like this, down 24-3. Do you start to look at the guy behind him? Do they start to look at Aaron Rodgers, who, like Bowler, went to the University of California? We were talking last night to Mike Sherman and he indicated no unless you got into a situation where it was a route. Well,
yeah, and he was talking about where he was on the other end of the route, but I don't, I think it's a thought that will probably come maybe later in the second half, but I don't think it'll come at the beginning of the half.
Here's Fisher. And Tony Fisher will take it out to the 45-yard line. And the Green Bay Packers are going to stop the clock. Through the years, there have been so many quarterbacks who've come through Green Bay. I mean, guys like Matt Hasselbeck and Mark Brunell and Aaron Brooks, and guys who could have had Favre suffered some sort of an injury or a career-ending injury, whatever, could have been the guy. So who's going to be the guy? Who will someday be the guy? As you look at Ted Thompson, the general manager, Bob Harlan, the major domo of the Green Bay Packers. I mean, sooner or later, I mean, that time is going to come. Will Rodgers be the guy?
Yeah, and I think, he probably will be if you want to rebuild. I mean, I think there's two things here. If you have Brett Favre back, then I think you just want to get your players healthy again, and you want to fill in with free agency and take a run at the championship. If you're going to rebuild, then Brett's probably not going to be there. Then you go with Rodgers. But to me, there's two sets of dynamics there.
Favre ready to launch one against the Cleveland defense, and it's underneath and incomplete to David Martin, who started to look upfield, and now you have 6 seconds remaining in a frustrating first half for Mike Sherman's team.
And he's just trying to get something going. I think part of those deep passes for Brett Favre have been out of frustration too, and just kind of hoping. I mean, like I said earlier, he's kind of thrown his short passes okay and the medium range one, but the deep ones, he's just been throwing them up there for grabs.
Underneath again, Fisher. And he'll run out of bounds, but the clock will also run out simultaneously. So that is the end of the half. All Baltimore, all Ravens in the opening 30 minutes. They lead by a score of 24-3. The Lexus halftime show coming up next after this message from the National Football League and a word from our ABC stations.
Relive another great moment on ESPN. It's the biggest day of racing in America, the fabled Indianapolis 500. Difficult to capture for the most savvy veteran drivers. More difficult for a young 26-year-old gunning for his first checkered flag at the Brickyard at Indianapolis. But Elio Castroneves defied the odds and won the big race, climbed the catch fence, and the legend of Spider-Man was born. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
The NBA on ESPN Live Thursday. The new dynamic duo, Manu, Oberto, and the champion Spurs are currently riding high in the West. They head to the Garden to face the Knicks. Spurs, Knicks, Live Thursday. The NBA on ESPN.
Welcome back to the NFL Halftime Report for Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Ravens all over the Packers at home, 24-3. A reminder, next week, our Monday Night Football edition, presented by Telcel, will pit the New England Patriots, the two-time defending world champions, taking on AFC East rivals, the New York Jets. The Patriots on top of the division have clinched a playoff berth, and they're looking to clinch the division as well. Well, Baltimore crab, you gotta love it. Crab cakes, little coleslaw. The Ravens at home hosting the Green Bay Packers and taking it to them on Monday Night Football. Let's go back to the first quarter. B.J. Sams takes a punt on his 32. Look at him bust out of trouble there. He's going to go 49 yards on this one. Another penalty would Add some more. Packers were in deep trouble. Kyle Bowler goes for Todd Heap later in the drive. 2-yard touchdown pass. Ravens were up 7-0. Still in the first quarter, that was the score. Jamal Lewis, oh, he has had a tough year. He takes a delayed handoff, gets a couple blocks, goes down the left side for 22 yards, delivers some punishment at the end of the play. Then later on the same dive, Baltimore threatening again. Mark Clayton, wide receiver, takes a direct snap, gets some great blocking out on the corner, and is able to take it in for the 14-0 lead on that 11-yard touchdown run. Brett Favre looking to get something back, down 14-3, rolls right, launching it deep, but into double coverage, picked off by Samari Roll. They give us a little prime time after that. Favre's 23rd pick on the year. So they took over on their own 4. And they took a long, sustained drive. This was the 13th play of that drive. Derek Mason catching the ball from Kyle Bowler, takes it for 27 yards into the red zone. 3 plays later on what turned out to be a 96-yard, 16-play drive. Kyle Bowler, having perhaps his best game as a pro, finds Randy Himes, who makes the great one-handed grab for the touchdown. Ravens went up 21-3. They would add a Matt Stover field goal to make it 24-3. Let's take a look at this running back comparison tonight. Sam Gatto coming off an outstanding game. Only got 6 carries, but he does have 45 yards. Lewis has got a few more yards on double the carries. So right now, both backs playing pretty well. Brett Favre has thrown 2 interceptions on 10 of 19 throwing. Kyle Bowler, how about these numbers? 14 for 18, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. The much maligned Bowler, who has yet to really produce now in his 3rd season in the NFL, is starting to show, at least tonight, that he may be ready for prime time. And a reminder, NBA fans, coming your way on NBA Wednesday. The defending champion San Antonio Spurs, folks, they've only gotten better this year, adding even more talent. They will go to New York to take on Stephon Marbury and the Knicks. The Knicks really need to start making some moves up those standings. Larry Brown in his first year has been unable to turn the Knicks around, at least just yet. Check the time in your area of the world for NBA Wednesday. We're ready to get back to Monday Night Football for the second half kickoff. It's the Ravens hosting the Packers.
Madden, Sam Ryan, as we wrap up the 15th week of the season, and the Baltimore Ravens, who had scored 20 or more points only once all season, and that was in a loss to Cincinnati, have thrown up 24 in the first half. And that is B.J. Sams back to receive. He ran the opening kickoff in Denver last week. Back 87 yards. Longwell sends it down to the 9-yard line. Sams to the 28. From Sams to Sam. Sam?
All right, Al, well, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers earlier. At what point do we see him? If we do see him, I posed that question to Mike Sherman. He said, well, play it as it goes. He did not rule it out, though. The injuries, though, the big story for the Packers in the first half. Sam Gatto, he has a right MCL. His night is done. As for Will Whitaker, he's out with a concussion that took place in the first half. Mike Hawkins, the nickelback, a right knee injury. And linebacker Paris Lennon, x-rays on his right hand, injuries just piling up for the Packers. Hey, that's been the story of their season.
Yes, it has, pretty much in microcosm, as Jamal Lewis picks up 5 yards here. So Gatto is out. We'll see Fisher as the running back, some of Hearn as well. Nile Diggs is another guy who's been hurt, and he's back now because Lennon's out. First half numbers. Boulder with a big half, 14 out of 18. So the Ravens 252 through the air. Packers turned it over twice. 24-3. Second and 5. Lewis. Close to a first. Well, they left something, John.
Yeah, they got it now.
And when somebody comes out takes the kicking tee off the field.
That's kind of the way the Packers kicking tee guys kind of picking up the tee the way the team is playing. A couple plays behind on everything. I mean, they don't, you know, they never match the intensity in the first half. And I'm not saying that there's a lot of intensity in this game because, you know, I mean, of the record of both of these teams. But having said that, the Ravens have a lot more of it than the Packers do.
First down and 10. Bowler throws. Todd Heap makes the catch. He draws a crowd. You've got Roman and Diggs in on the tackle, and that picks up about 8 to the 46-yard line. Ravens, take a look at how some of their key guys have done tonight. Real good half for Bowler. Real good half. Lewis, 61 yards on the ground. Heap, 8 catches and a touchdown.
Yeah, I think they're doing everything they can to Heap. I mean, they have a linebacker and a safety on. The next thing they'd have to do is maybe put a corner on him.
Put a corner that time on the ball carriers. Niall Diggs makes the pop at the line of scrimmage. Short loss, 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, that's the old gap thing, you know, where every defensive lineman and linebacker has a gap along the line of scrimmage. They were going in Niall Diggs's gap, and he took it. That's what you have to do. Watch him. There's a gap there, and here's Diggs's gap right there. He plays that thing perfectly.
3rd and 2. Good throw, caught. Clayton slips a tackle, picks up a first down. The #1 draft choice out of Oklahoma, who ran for a touchdown in the first half after he took a snap. For him, that's 2 catches tonight for 24 yards.
Yeah, the Packers are really trying to unsettle Bowler. They're trying to blitz him on these passing downs, but he's coming out and throwing hot. I mean, here comes a blitz. Here comes a free guy. He just gets rid of it before they get there. And again, that's the thing. If it's 3rd and manageable, I mean, it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, you can do those types of things.
Now Collins missed the tackle that time. And now they're going to give it to Mark Clayton on a reverse, and he'll get to the 40-yard line. So they use Clayton to run the ball. They've thrown it to him tonight, and emerging what they hope will be star for the Baltimore Ravens.
You know, and I think he's going to be one. I mean, just watch him in practice. I mean, this kid has so much speed and quickness and life in him. You know, you just feel that, you know, that this guy's going to be a great player. All we have to do is get the ball in his hands any way we can, and he's going to make a big play.
They did last week in Denver. He caught 7 for 105 at Mile High and a touchdown. 2nd down and 6 at the 40. Opening drive, 3rd period. Baltimore leading by 21. And Bowler throws, and that's caught by Derek Mason, a little short of a first down. They're spotted at the 35-yard line. The tackle there is made by Mark Roman. The Ravens did not have a guy, a receiver, in triple figures since 2003. So last week, despite losing in Denver, there was Clayton at 105 yards, the first since Marcus Robinson did it back in the 03 season. Taylor's the running back, 3rd down and 1. And they flip it back to Chester Taylor. And he's going to get it. And he gets ridden out of bounds by Nick Collins after a gain of about 7 on the option.
You see what that play? Yeah, that's an NFL option, though. You know, the college option, the quarterback is really a threat to run the ball. He's going to come running down the line and threaten to be the run. The NFL option is you take 2 steps and get pitches. There is no way, although the defender did come towards Bowler, but the pro option is 1, 2, whack, get the ball out of there. Not a bad 3rd down play.
No. I like that call. 27-yard line. 9:49 to go in the 3rd period. Bowler deep. Heat makes the catch. He takes it away from Roman for the touchdown. second touchdown of the night for Todd Heap. This one 27 yards. The strong hands of Heap taking it away from Roman.
You know, I think that's when I would put a corner on Todd Heap. When he lines up out here, he's lined up like a wide receiver, and you have Mark Roman on him, your safety, he's just going to beat him. I mean, he's probably going to beat anyone out there one-on-one. Good pass protection. Bowler sees that he has Heap out there, spread out one-on-one. He is going to get the ball to him.
9 catches for 110 yards. Stover for the point after. And the Baltimore Ravens look anything but a 4-9 team tonight. 31-3.
Relive another great moment on ESPN. Could he do it again? Would Adam Vinatieri hit another last-second field goal to nail down another Super Bowl victory for the New England Patriots?
And Vinatieri's kick down the middle. The kick is good.
And the New England Patriots were Super Bowl champions for the second time in 3 years. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN. Las Vegas is the site for another season of poker. All your favorite card players have returned to compete for big cash prizes. While a newcomer has his sights set on the ultimate title. Ladies and gentlemen, we present the 2005 World Series of Poker. Friday on ESPN. ESPN presents exclusive coverage of the battle for Holland. The Dutch Cup. From the lowlands to the cities, action that brings fans to their feet. All of the Netherlands' big clubs fight it out for the country's top honours. The Dutch Cup. The Dutch Cup. Early round coverage begins with holders PSV taking on FC20. Tuesday on ESPN.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
So Brett Favre and his team down by 28. Meanwhile, Edwin Mulatalo going back to the old Perry O'Brien move, John.
Yeah, well, what that is, that's a 350-pounders celebration. You don't have those fancy dances and stuff. If you weigh 350 pounds, man, you're going to shot put it.
Good form, too.
Yeah, he did have good
Here's
form.
Leach to the 34-yard line with 9 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the third period. First time the Packers have had the ball here in the second half. All Baltimore by 28.
When you speak of a club's special teams unit, you begin with a place kicker. He boots the ball off a tee from his team's own 30-yard line. The second player you mention is the returner. This is the player receiving the kick on the opposite end of the field. The returner's objective is to run the ball back across the goal line that the kicking team is defending. This is a rare feat to pull off, so establishing field position close to or beyond the 50-yard line is desired and creates a great advantage to his team's offensive unit. If the kick goes through the returning team's end zone or the returner takes a knee in the end zone, his offense receives the ball at their own 20-yard line. If a fair catch is called, the kicking team cannot touch the returner and the ball is downed where the catch is made. If it is kicked out of bounds, the receiving team gets the ball 30 yards from where it was kicked or where the ball went out of bounds, the more advantageous of the two. Once the ball has gone 10 yards or is touched by the receiving team, it's a free ball.
The holiday season here in Maryland. Holiday atmosphere in this stadium tonight because the Ravens look great. And you have a flag here as Robert Ferguson makes the catch near the first down marker at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, we talk about intensity, and it just looks like the Ravens all night have been playing at one level.
Number 89, offense. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
defensive on Ferguson.
For pushing off.
And the Packers have been playing another level. I mean, you know, they're not matching the intensity. I mean, they just don't look with, you know, like they have any life in them or any passion, or they're not on offense or defense or any place. They're just not going after anything.
There are the numbers for three of the key guys. Of course, Gatto sprained his knee. Mike Sherman's team has lost a lot of close games this season, but this one not in that category. 1st and 20. An inside handoff on the draw. 27-yard line. He goes 2nd and long, and we'll go back to the Heap touchdown.
Here it is on the clicker, and we'll just see Heap now. He gets to the outside. Now, once you get to the outside, you want to get your shoulder and elbow in, and that will push him a little to the inside and get you a step on him right there. You see right there where that left elbow goes in, and he gets a little push and turns the hips, and then he's able to come right out of it and get the ball. And the more things you can do like that as a receiver, the more experienced receiver you are and the better receiver you are.
And it was nicely hidden from the official as well. Little elbow move. The pass intended for Fisher is incomplete, and it will be 3rd down and 16.
I'm impressed with Todd Heap tonight. I mean, I think, you know, Bowler is doing a good job. The offensive line is doing a much better job. I mean, they haven't played well this year. They've been very inconsistent, but whether it's Todd Heap playing well, the offensive line playing well, or the Packers maybe defensively not putting up a great fight either.
Missing tackles and missed a couple early on. Baltimore was able to jump on him early and haven't looked back. 3rd down and 16. 4-man rush, make it 5 now. 5 throws and then swatted down as Chris McAllister draws a flag. Robert Ferguson was the intended receiver. McAllister got a hand on him. Otherwise, it looked like he was going to get away with it, and then the official said,
Pass interference. Number 21. Defense. It's a 1st down.
It was really pretty good coverage. Yeah. I mean, I can see how he can call it because he kind of touches him or goes over the shoulder before the ball gets there. But he got up there and pressed him and let him go after 5 yards, and he was right on him. And that was one of those passes that Brett Favre really had to force in there.
He got his left arm underneath. 1st down and 10. It's going to be tossed back to Noah Herron, and Noah goes nowhere.
I think that's probably where the Packers are, aren't they? When they're handing the ball to Noah Herron.
Yeah, that's,
you know, and they just lost Samcon Gatto.
Right, and Samcon Gatto was the 5th guy down on the food chain. Not that he was there at the beginning, but after they lost Green and then they lost Davenport and then Fisher got hurt and Rashard Lee, and then you got Gatto, and now you're down to Noah Herron, who started the season with Pittsburgh.
Right, and the running back and the running game, you know, have been such a big part of the Packer offense lately.
Far to the outside. Driver makes the catch. They've been holding Driver in check very well tonight. Bart Scott in on the tackle. Only Driver's 2nd catch. Packer running game, of course, over the past several seasons, mainly thanks to Amon Green, has been very good. But this year down to 85.5 yards per game, and that ain't going to cut it.
Yeah, and they've done so much off their passing game. You know, I mean, their passing game coming off their running game. You know, with the bootlegs and the play action, those types of things. And then you take Amon Green out of there, and you take the threat of him as a runner and pass receiver, and they lose a very big part of this offense.
3rd and 8. Far tip incomplete. It's broken up by Samari Rolle.
Well, Samari Rolle's done a pretty good job. I mean, you said you hadn't heard much from Donald Driver. Samari Rolle is playing him man-to-man, and the Packers are trying to move Driver around in different places, and Samari Rolle is going wherever Donald Driver goes.
I mean, you think of that secondary role, former Pro Bowler, Reed, Player of the Year defensively. Deion's going to go to the Hall of Fame, and Chris McAllister's no bum. He's been a Pro Bowler. That's fair caught by B.J. Sams at the 12-yard line. 7:02 left in the 3rd. The Baltimore Ravens leading the Packers 31-3.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Dennis Rodman. When Dennis Rodman was just another well-paid NBA player in the late 1980s, he was a highly respected member of the Detroit Pistons.
Boy, he could get the rebound, kick it to the guard, and then beat everybody down the court for the layup or the tip-in. I mean, the man was just incredible.
Then Dennis Rodman's life changed when he and Madonna struck sparks that blazed across the media.
She built up his self-esteem also, told him he is somebody, and explained to him it's not always the substance that can bring you fame. It's the packaging.
When Dennis got 15 rebounds and dressed normal, he made $2 million a year. And when he started wearing dress and acting, doing this stuff, he made $20 million a year.
The beautiful game lives in Italy with the Italian Serie A. Midweek action heats up when the men of Lecce take on the enigmatic club Lazio. The Italian Serie A, Lecce, Lazio, Wednesday on ESPN.
ESPN.
Aerial coverage provided tonight by Goodyear, looking down at the Ravens logo. Artificial turf here at M&T Bank Stadium. Baltimore has a 13-yard line. Jamal Lewis up to the 20-yard line.